Hello, Seesaw users. Today I wanted to talk to you about your Seesaw settings for Kenosha Unified. And let me just jump right into my Seesaw class so we can walk through those. I am currently in my journal. You will notice I'm highlighted here, journal, in the column to the right. I do want to talk about this using Seesaw for home learning, get home learning codes. In Kenosha, we do not need to use this at all as our students log in with class link. So as long as the students are logging in with their class link and they've got Seesaw Classroom in their dashboard, students will log right in this way simply by clicking this button. So that is something we don't have to worry about any of these home learning codes. But I do want to talk about your settings. So in the upper right corner, there's a little wrench. Let's click on that wrench. And here are your class settings. Most of that's going to be set for you if you're already a classroom teacher. If you are a support teacher and have set up your own Seesaw classroom, you may want to adjust some of this and name it appropriate. It's always nice to have the year in there so that as years go by, we can archive our older classes. I do want to jump down to the student class settings because there's some important parts in here. The sign-in mode we don't need to deal with. Managing students, if you do need to change an icon, maybe the snake is something that one of my female students is not so crazy about having as an icon. I can change that out. I will pick a ladybug. Notice the blue outline around there. And then I just jump back and can go right back. There she is. Now she's going to be a ladybug. Notice when I was back there, oops, let me go back into her. If I go into this icon area, down at the bottom, if you happen to have photos of your students or they're right next to you in class and you want to take a picture of each student using the device camera, you can do that. Or if you already have images on your computer, you can upload the images there. So I just wanted to let you know you've got those options as far as editing students. Oops, there we go. After that, home learning codes. Again, we talked about that. There is no need for us to use home learning codes because we're using ClassLink. Student likes and comments. This is one area where we're going to open that up. If you have an assignment that students need to show that they like something, and we're going to be thoughtful about that because we don't want these likes and comments down below to be a popularity thing. It can be something that you require and you want all those students to comment back and forth or like back and forth for each other on a specific activity. But for the beginning of the year, I think to avoid allowing them likes at the beginning would be safe. You can open that up when you are ready, depending on your activities. Student comments is similar. Again, this is fine, and I think it's great eventually to open up your student comments to go back and forth to learn from each other. But notice when you do have the enabling student comments, you can also include that needs to come to you for approval. If you're going to have this one on, I would include this one also. So just some things to think about as you begin your year. Again, at the beginning of the year, I might not have that open and maybe open it up for specific learning activities that you have assigned for your students. Then we go down to this one. Students can see each other's work. This is important. Normally, I'm going to change that. This is going to be on by default for you. And this is something that is great when we're in the classroom, working on our Seesaw accounts and so forth together. However, once we go home and we don't have a difference between our home and our classroom on our devices, that means that the parents or the families can also see other students' work. For that reason, please make sure you go in and change student can see each other's work to off. and confirm that change. So we want that gray. If you get your students with you in the classroom and you have something you want them to see each other's work for, go ahead and turn it on for that activity. But please, before they go home and do any work, make sure that that's turned back to the off setting. The next couple of things, new items require approval. That's just totally up to you. I would always, at least at the beginning, until everybody gets familiar with the use of Seesaw, have that turned on so everything comes through you for approval. You can do item editing here. You have to decide if you want students to be able to edit the posts that they're tagged in. Anybody who it's their own draft will always be able to edit their own, but if there are other students tagged in that activity, sometimes that you may or may not want that on. Also below that, students allowed to edit who is tagged in the post. This allows students to include other children in the classroom on that activity. So again, at the beginning, I think I would keep that off until you have set up those activities that might require something like that. Finally, new activity or new items require approval from you. I would just personally would keep that one on, just so that everything, you get your eyes on everything that comes through. Enable the sample student. This is really just for you. I love using that because then I can go in and see what it looks like on the student side. Notice when I have my little sample student here off to the right, and if I turn it off, it goes away. Then I just have my straight classroom. So it allows you a little student to kind of play with and see what's there. When I go down below to the families access, of course we want that on. This is how we invite families by email or text messages, or we can print an activity. And I just lost my settings here. Let's get back in there real quick. Managing the families. You've got all of your family, who's already confirmed that they're in my group and who hasn't yet. Pending family approvals will be something similar. And here again, you've got family likes, comments, and sharing. So enable family sharing. Do you want the families to share things or not? I think that would be fine. Enabling the family likes, I think I'd keep that turned off until you get further into the year and maybe have specific activities or journal topics that you want them to comment on. And then family comments here. I'd love that the families be involved, so that's really great. And if families are going to comment, again, I think it's probably very wise for you as a teacher to be able to approve them before the student sees them. So we just have a couple things here at the bottom of the class settings. The class blog, we'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother section of Seesaw that's not directly going to be used at the beginning, but we'll get there later. This is how you manage your folders under the folders area. And again, you can create your folders, label them, and when you assign your activities, you can assign them to a folder that fits that topic. And the skills. The managing skills, we don't need to manage skills because your skills for our standards-based grading have already been imported into your grade level. So if you're a kindergarten teacher, you've got all your skills there that will come up. If you're a first grade, you'll see first grade skills. So depending on what your class is labeled as far as grade level, those are the skills you'll see when you assign your activities. Your rating scales, I keep this at a 4 to fit our grading scale. And the color scheme is totally up to you. You can make it look any of these ways. So you can pick those. And that's, let me do one more thing. Saving to camera roll. I like that. If you do any videos or anything, you can save those to your camera roll for later use. And when you're doing that, you're going to want to pick the video quality. If it's really high quality, the highest pixelation here, it's going to take a longer time to upload. If it's high quality, it's a little slower upload, but the quality is going to be still okay. And if it's medium quality, you have a really quick, fast upload. but it may get a little not as crisp. So think about what you are doing as far as your video, how long the video is. If you're going to have a longer video, I might go down to the medium quality just so that it's not going to take, it won't take so long if you have it in the HD. That will take a long time to upload. So think about the time your video takes and the quality that you might need. I'm going to leave mine at high quality right here in the middle for right now. And that's it in a nutshell. I'm hoping that this has helped with your class settings and you have a wonderful school year this year.